there ain't no reconciliation. There ain't no fixing Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane issues. Pooh Shiesty, once off the label, like again, by force, by coercion, or Gucci Mane could just do it an easy way. But Gucci is thinking he could reconcile. Pooh Shiesty is at a point where he can't reconcile, according to Hernandez Gomez.
Pooh Shiesty is moving like a man with thunder circling his name right now. What was supposed to be a smooth homecoming vibe twisted fast into something darker, louder, and way more tense than anyone predicted. One minute it looked like business as usual. The next minute the streets started buzzing heavy. Once word spread that Gucci Mane allegedly sent pressure to recover stolen property, the whole energy shifted overnight. This stopped feeling like label politics and started feeling personal real quick. Folks in the city started saying Gucci wasn't playing chess anymore. He was moving cold and direct. This version of Gucci feels sharper, quieter, and way less forgiving than the one people thought they knew. Pooh Shiesty, born Luntrell Donnell Williams Jr., came out of Memphis, Tennessee, and didn't take the slow lane to fame. He popped off fast with Back in Blood featuring Lil Durk, and that record didn't just chart, it echoed through every block. That song became a street anthem that stamped his name worldwide with no debate. Growing up in South Memphis meant survival came before dreams. Loyalty meant everything, and disrespect always had a price. You either learned how to stand firm early, or you got left behind, and Shiesty learned quick. His roots were deep in the pavement, and respect wasn't something people handed you politely. From the jump, he understood that reputation mattered more than explanations, and once your name got played with, things could spiral fast. Memphis was boiling with tension during that time. Crews bumping heads, young voices trying to be heard, and nobody backing down an inch. Shiesty soaked up all that pressure and poured it straight into his music. The same code he lived by in real life bled into every bar he delivered. One of the closest people in his circle was his cousin Big Scare, and they were locked in tight. This wasn't just family on paper, this was blood, history, and shared survival. They moved like brothers through risky territory, watching each other's backs at all times. Memphis wasn't painted as glamorous, it was raw, uncut, and deadly serious. Shiesty knew that breaking your word in that city wasn't just bad business, it could flip lives upside down. At the same time, Gucci Mane had already built a massive empire out of Atlanta with his 1017 label. He was respected for spotting raw talent early and turning street pressure into real success. But everyone also knew Gucci had a ruthless side when he felt crossed or disrespected. Just as Shiesty's career was gaining serious momentum, tragedy hit in the worst possible way. Big Scare passed away unexpectedly, and that loss shook everything. This wasn't a label issue. This was family. And in Memphis, family comes first every single time. From Shiesty's perspective, when blood is lost, you're expected to stand tall and show real support. That's where the situation started to crack and turn messy, according to Big Scar's family. When they reached out to Gucci for funeral support, the response stunned them. He claimed Gucci sent $10,000 for flowers and said he couldn't cover the funeral because his wife's birthday was coming up. To the family, that felt like a slap, especially coming from someone with that level of money and influence. The feeling wasn't about the amount, it was about respect. Everything exploded once relatives went public online, saying calls were blocked and responsibility was dodged. Statements like $10,000 A&T, nothing for flowers, and my brother was worth way more than that, spread like wildfire. Once those words hit the internet, there was no pulling them back. The streets saw it, the fans saw it, and everybody started picking sides fast. This whole situation left a heavy mark on Pooh Shiesty's mindset because this wasn't some label gossip or online noise. This was blood. Losing Big Scare hit close to the soul, and from Shiesty's point of view, Gucci Mane didn't show up the way family is supposed to, when it really counts. In Memphis culture, when someone passes, it's bigger than music, contracts, or clout. The whole city is expected to stand together and show real love. So for a label boss to act like giving a proper funeral was too much, came off as straight disrespect in the streets. And that kind of move doesn't get forgotten. At the same time, tension was already building quietly. Gucci Mane was going back and forth with Big 30 in comment sections, tossing slick shots and moving like nobody could question him. That energy didn't slide past unnoticed. Pooh Shiesty was watching everything closely, stacking every moment in his memory, and realizing this wasn't a one-off mistake. To him, it started looking like a pattern where Memphis artists weren't getting the respect they had earned through sweat and loyalty. And this was never really about money. It was about principle, loyalty, and how you treat people who helped build your brand from the ground up. When artists sign to a label built on street credibility, that's supposed to mean family, not disposable pieces. Pooh Shiesty felt like Memphis's talent was being treated like it could be swapped out overnight. And in that city, that type of move always brings consequences sooner or later. Things got even more confusing after that. When Pooh Shiesty came home from his legal situation, Gucci Mane was quick to post him publicly and show love for the cameras. On the surface, it looked like everything was back smooth, like the past had been brushed aside. Fans started talking, expecting big records and loud moments from the 1017 camp again. But behind closed doors, the energy wasn't the same anymore. Big scare situation never left Shiesty's mind. Time locked in gave him space to replay every detail, every silence, and every move that felt off. When he came home, he wasn't the same mentally, and he wasn't viewing the music game through the same lens anymore. While he was away, Pooh Shiesty really sat with his position. He realized he already had his own money, his own motion, and a fan base that stayed solid no matter what label name was attached. That led to one serious question. What could Gucci Mane really offer now that Shiesty couldn't already secure himself? That's when his business mindset fully shifted. He started thinking about owning everything, keeping his full percentage, and moving without a middleman he no longer trusted. He had proven he could make hits, proven the streets still backed him, and proven he didn't need guidance anymore. So when Gucci Mane reached out about re-signing or new projects, Pooh Shiesty didn't rush to say yes. He moved colder, slower, and way more calculated. Gucci could feel that shift instantly, and the streets felt it too. Word started spreading that Shiesty had outgrown 1017 and was ready to stand on his own terms now. Other labels started circling fast, throwing offers with better splits, louder respect, and real understanding of where Shiesty came from. One name kept popping up heavy, and that was Collective Music Group, run by Yo Gotti. That interest made perfect sense, because Memphis artists move off culture first, not just contracts. At the same time, whispers started reaching Pooh Shiesty that Gucci Mane had been talking slick behind the scenes about Memphis artists. It's moving like they should feel lucky just to wear the 1017 name. That kind of attitude didn't sit right at all. Shiesty didn't come up off favors or charity. He came from pressure, survival, and earning every inch of respect the hard way. In a short amount of time, he went from riding hard for 1017 to questioning everything about his place on that label. He was finally in position to call his own shots. That independence started feeling like a threat to Gucci's control over the situation. Just when Pooh Shiesty was lining up his next moves and getting comfortable with that freedom, everything took a sharp left on a day nobody saw coming. He and Gucci linked up in the studio to talk business, supposedly a calm sit-down about where things were headed next. What should have been routine turned tense fast, with emotions creeping in and personal feelings bubbling to the surface. The vibe shifted quick, and everyone in the room could feel it. People close to the situation say Gucci was pushing hard for Shiesty to stay with 1017, talking better terms, more money, and a sweeter deal to lock him back in. But Shiesty wasn't interested at all. His mind was already locked on independence, and once he sets his stance, he doesn't bend easy. The more Gucci pressed, the colder Shiesty became. That's when the conversation switched gears completely. Gucci started bringing up loyalty, reminding him who helped put him on, and how doors were opened early in his career. The tone made it sound like gratitude and compliance were expected, the same way other artists had fallen in line before. But Shiesty wasn't accepting that energy at all. He fired right back, bringing up the big scare situation and how his family felt played during one of the worst moments of their lives. That hit a nerve instantly. From that point on, it wasn't business talk anymore. It was raw emotions spilling out in real time. The room went quiet, but the tension got loud. Things escalated fast when Shiesty started saying Gucci wasn't the same person anymore. He said the respect was gone, the culture was ignored, and the hunger that built the brand didn't feel real anymore. The air got heavy, and everybody present felt the energy sliding toward something ugly. Gucci had security there, but Shiesty didn't come alone either. His crew reportedly outnumbered Gucci's people, and before anyone could slow it down, the situation allegedly exploded. Shiesty and his team made a move that shocked everyone. Taking Gucci's wedding ring and expensive watch right there in the studio, while security couldn't react fast enough. This wasn't just about jewelry at all. Taking a man's wedding ring is deeply personal. That's family, commitment, and pride wrapped into one symbol. Snatching that sends a message louder than words, saying nobody is untouchable, no matter how big the name or legacy. It all happened so fast that even seasoned security was caught off guard. In tight spaces, when numbers are against you, survival becomes the priority. Pooh Shiesty never fully denied what went down, and his reasoning stayed simple and cold. In his mind, Gucci Mane crossed the line first, and this was the response he felt was earned. From Pooh Shiesty's point of view, the line had already been crossed long before that studio moment ever happened. The big scare situation left a permanent mark, and in his mind, Gucci Mane disrespected his family first when they were at their lowest. What followed wasn't random or heat of the moment behavior. It was about balance, principle, and answering disrespect in the only language Shiesty believed Gucci would truly understand. But this wasn't just any situation at all. Gucci wasn't only dealing with property being taken, it was dealing with the humiliation of it happening in front of witnesses who would absolutely talk. In hip-hop and street culture, embarrassment travels faster than facts, and this story spread through social media and the industry like wildfire. Once that narrative caught fire, there was no controlling it. Almost immediately, fans started saying something felt off. People began comparing the Gucci Mane of today to the version they remembered from years back. The old Gucci would have reacted instantly. No pause, no silence, no second guessing.
Oh, that version
was known for fast responses and zero tolerance for disrespect. But this newer Gucci Mane, the married, disciplined, business-focused version, moved completely different. Instead of reacting off impulse, he stayed quiet, watched closely, and thought several steps ahead. That pause alone had people questioning everything. Some said he'd evolved and matured, others said he'd lost his edge. The streets had opinions loud and clear. Folks were saying the old Gucci wouldn't he have let this situation breathe for even one night. Rumors started flying that years ago, this would have been handled immediately. No waiting, no calculating. But people close to the situation said Gucci wasn't ignoring anything. He was choosing a smarter approach. Word started circulating that messages were already being sent through the right channels, pressure moving quietly but deliberately. What really had Gucci heated wasn't even the jewelry itself, it was the disrespect attached to how it happened. Getting touched in your own studio, in front of your own people, is a serious violation in street terms. And the wedding ring made it cut even deeper. That ring represents family, commitment, and respect. Bringing that into a street conflict is seen as crossing a line that can be erased or brushed off. Sources said Gucci was telling people this had stopped being business and turned personal. From his perspective, once family symbols are involved, the rules shift completely. That's when situations move into a different category altogether. Social media stayed split right down the middle. Some backed Pooh Shiesty, saying he stood on family and didn't fold under pressure. Others said he made a dangerous move by testing someone with Gucci's reach, history, and long memory in the game. Either way, this moment became a serious test of Gucci Mane's reputation. Even with growth and discipline, the streets still expect legends to answer disrespect a certain way. Losing the ring and watch was never about money, it was about respect, legacy, and position. If this went unanswered, it would signal that Gucci Mane could be touched, and that's a message no street legend can afford to let stick. What made this situation way more complicated is that from Pooh Shiesty's side, the anger didn't come out of thin air. The way Gucci Mane handled Big Scar's funeral genuinely hurt his family. And in their eyes, that disrespect was never addressed the right way. From that perspective, what happened later felt like payback, not chaos. It was personal, emotional, and rooted in real pain, not just label politics or internet drama. But the streets don't move off emotions alone. There's a code, and that code doesn't bend just because someone feels justified. You take from your former boss in his own studio and expect the story to fade quietly. Once that line is crossed, there's no rewind. And both sides get locked into a situation where pride, reputation, and pressure take control immediately. That's where things turn dangerous. A boundary was crossed that couldn't be undone, and now both camps were standing on edge where every move mattered. The real tragedy is that none of this had to happen at all. Clear communication early on could have stopped everything from spiraling this far out of control. If Gucci Mane had handled the big scare situation with more care and visible respect from the start, this entire chain reaction likely never would have existed. Now the outcome is wide open, and fans are left guessing how this ends. Legal routes, behind-the-scenes pressure, or a rare sit-down are all possibilities, but one thing is obvious. Once respect breaks at this level, fixing it is never easy or quick. One thing is undeniable now. This situation permanently changed the relationship between Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty forever. There's no going back to how things used to be, no matter how much time passes. People behind the scenes reportedly tried to calm things down, knowing both sides had too much to lose if this went any further. But when respect gets questioned and family is involved, logic usually gets pushed to the side. Finding common ground in moments like this becomes almost impossible. The streets are watching every move, every silence, and every reaction closely. Whatever happens next will shape how both Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty are remembered in hip-hop history. This stopped being about music a long time ago. It's about legacy, pride, and how far each man is willing to go to protect his name. The question hanging in the air is simple but dangerous. Will Gucci Mane tap into that old, ruthless energy people still associate with his name? Or will he handle this strictly through business and calculated pressure? Either path sends a message. Both artists have families to protect, reputations to defend, and long-term legacies on the line. Everyone hopes cooler heads win because once situations like this pass a certain point, the consequences don't just hit the people involved, they ripple outward. But hip-hop history has shown again and again that when respect is challenged, anything can happen. Ending, this moment proves that even in 2026, the streets still run on rules that can't be ignored. Mixing business with personal pain is a dangerous game, and once those lines blur, the damage doesn't stay contained. No matter how this plays out, one thing is already written in stone. The bond between Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty is broken for good, and the fallout from that break will echo far beyond one studio, one chain, or one night.